Okay, today I'm going to talk about why Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is so fucking awesome. I mean, it's really freaking awesome. It just is. And Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is the Call of Duty game that takes place in outer space between the SDF faction and the Earth Human factions. And the SDF is kind of like Unitology on Dead Space, but without the religious symbolism or the markers or foreigner technology. So essentially, the story goes is that in the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, humans came together in unity and peace and built spaceships and became an interstellar empire and started exploring and colonizing the galaxy around them. But as time went on, kind of like in the Halo backstory, where as time went on, humans factions started popping up, like that wanted to break away from the Earth Humans Empire, and essentially they started going to war against each other. And like in the Halo backstory, that's essentially why the Spartans were created in Halo, not to fight the Covenant, but to quell human resistance factions. And in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, the SDF is a resistance human faction that broke away from the Earth Humans and essentially started their own empire. They're kind of like, at the beginning of the game, they're kind of like just scattered military branches. They don't really have a leader. They're kind of, not really controlled by one entity. They're kind of all factions on their own. But later in the game, you find out that the factions are actually controlled by one entity, one leader, essentially. So then he unites the factions and then starts his murderous rampage to take over and annihilate the Earth Humans and their entire empire. So, and also the SDF is kind of like a cult because you have to. It says that they all carry weapons. You have to believe their ideology, live their way of life, or else they kill you. You have to essentially subdue yourself to the will of the SDF faction and live the way they tell you to live. And you have to live for the greater good of the faction, not necessarily for the individuality of humans. And so essentially the SDF is a cult. And essentially they don't really go into too much details of why they hate Earth Humans, but other than they just hate them and they want to essentially annihilate all Earth Humans from existence. And so the game starts off when the SDF is united and by an entity, by one leader, and begin their war against humans on Earth. And so that's where the game begins. And so that's basically a little backstory of the game. So, but what I want to talk about is the reason why Call of Duty Infinite Warfare could possibly be, other than a couple of World War II games and some Modern Warfare games out of the trilogy, could possibly be one of the best Call of Duty games ever created. And it is just such a landmark game that it could have spawned a whole new era of Call of Duty games. I hear mixed reviews. Some people said they liked it, some people said they hated it, some people had really no opinion. Some people didn't like it because it wasn't traditional Call of Duty, which is why later on, a couple years later, Call of Duty went back and made Call of Duty World War II, the World War II game, to kind of go back to the roots, because that's what people said they wanted. And it was like, Call of Duty's made tons of World War II games. So if you like those games, go back and play them. Granted, you can't really play them on the Xbox One, so unless you have the earlier systems, you can't really play them. So it is kind of nice to have a updated Call of Duty World War II game on the Xbox One system. So the best of that. But I felt Call of Duty Infinite Warfare was far superior to Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare had a good start, but it just kind of fell apart halfway through, towards the end, where the Atlas basically started a war against America and the world. I felt like that was just unnecessary. It's like, why would they have no reason to do that? Other than in the game they say to stop basically war in the world by destroying the superpowers in the world. So basically, Atlas will be the only superpower, and therefore Atlas can bring peace by force. By using its military power to bring the force of peace and unity among the world. Which is essentially what Cortana is doing with her Guardians in Halo 5 and perhaps Halo Infinite. And, but, I felt Call of Duty Infinite Warfare was far superior to Advanced Warfare, and it's a lot better than some of the other Call of Duty games. Some of the Black Ops games, like that, and like working on a couple of World War II games, and Modern Warfare 3 was awesome. I love the Modern Warfare trilogy. Modern Warfare trilogy is just like perfect. It's really awesome. So essentially, but Modern Warfare took basically current events and kind of just used in a fictional manner. World War II games and Call of Duty basically take place in World War II. And but as far as future games go, like Call of Duty Advanced Warfare takes place in the future. But as far as basically talking about future conflicts, I felt Infinite Warfare is far superior to Advanced Warfare. And the reasons why is because Call of Duty Infinite Warfare was such a landmark game. It could have spawned a whole new era and series of Call of Duty games. Evil faction ruled by a zealous leader who essentially wants to destroy all life on Earth and all human life in the galaxy. And it kind of reminisces like the Prophets and the Covenant on Halo, the Unitology on Dead Space, the Reapers on Mass Effect, like that, and kind of like the Nazis of World War II, where they wanted to their evil faction ruled by a zealot leader, Hitler, who wanted to essentially destroy the world and take over it, make the world one united German state. But so essentially, it's got like Call of Duty Infinite Warfare's got reflections of different types of games and different Call of Duty games and different times in history, and so all rolled into a futuristic game. And the weapons are really nice. The weapons are really cool. And I like all the places you can play. There's 31 levels. Really, you only need to pass about 24 of them to actually beat the game. The other ones, the rest of them are optional. But got the game, beat it right when it came out, and loved it. I loved every minute of it. It's just like, it grabs you in the beginning and doesn't go until the end, which is, I feel the ending it could have been better. I mean, at the end of the game, he the guy who, by the way, the main character guy, he looks a lot like Tom Cruise. I don't know if they meant to do that or if they used Tom Cruise as a model, but the guy, I forget his name, but in Infinite Warfare, the main character, he looks an awful lot like Tom Cruise. But I don't know why. I don't know if they meant that or what. But anyways, at the end of the game, spoiler alert, they're in the shipyard and he sabotages the shipyard, and so essentially the shipyard blows up. He had time to escape. He had time to escape back to his craft to get back on his ship, but for some reason even the girl that Salter even told him, "Hey, there's time left before the place blows. You can get to a ship." And he's like, "No, I gotta stay here. I gotta do this. I'm not going home and stuff." And and so basically he had time to get to a ship and save himself, but he decided to die. He decided to just go down with the SDF shipyard. And you go to a lot of cool places. You go to the Titan moon and a space station orbiting around the sun. You go to Earth. You return to Earth. You go to the moon base. You go to Mars. You go to just like a bunch of other random places around the solar system. It's really cool. I like Infinite Warfare, and the gameplay is non-stop. It's firefight after firefight after firefight. You finish one firefight, you think you're safe. Okay, cool, I'm safe. Let's go on to the next part of the level, and bam, you're stuck in another firefight. Like firefight after firefight, unrelenting. And just like intense firefights. And the AIs on the game work really well. They're not like the early Halo Covenant where they just stand in one spot even though you're shooting at them. They move around and stuff like that, and kind of like, hide and sniper and stuff like that, like kind of like reminiscent of like fighting real people. And that's what Call of Duty is kind of known for, having kind of realistic AIs for some of their games. But so like the gameplay is really good. The graphics are outstanding. I love the graphics; they're amazing. And like the graphics are amazing. Attention to detail in the levels, and so just an all-around amazing game. And also, like, Salter and the main character, I think they're dating. I don't think they're married, but I think they're dating. There's a lot of kind of innuendo in the game that would suggest that they're more than just friends or coworkers, that there's a little bit more to their relationship than just plutonic, just friends or coworkers. And you don't actually see them kiss or hug or nothing, but some of the dialogue and some of the situations they're put in kind of make you wonder, like, well, is there more to a relationship than just friends? But and also, Salter kept saying throughout the entire game that she's always by his side, always by the main character's side, always by his side, follow him to the depths of hell and beyond. But when it came down to it, when it came down to basically choosing a suicide mission over going back home, she didn't want to do that. She wanted to go back home. She didn't want to risk her life for the betterment of humanity on Earth humans, and destroy the SDF. She wanted to, all she cared about was getting back home alive. And that's not bad. I mean, like the main character says in the beginning, when essentially says, the captain's job is to bring his men home safely, and then the commander, whatever, says not always, not always. So it's kind of reminiscent of two different types of military ideology, where it's like the kind of you have to bring your men home safely, and then alive, and then the other one's kind of like, well, if you have to sacrifice your men to complete the mission, then so be it. So kind of like that. But no, Salter was a good character. Main character was a good character. They played off each other really well. They played off all the other characters really well. So I really loved it. So if you haven't checked out Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, you definitely should. I wouldn't even recommend renting it. I mean, you should buy it. Downright buy it. Just buy it. It's awesome. It's worth having. It's a really awesome game. I recommend it. Highly recommend it. I'd say it's one of the best Call of Duty games Call of Duty's ever put out. And so I just wish there were more games like that. I wish I had ignited a whole new era of Call of Duty games, And so that's just what I wish. But anyways, if you haven't, check out Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. You have to try it. It's one of the best fucking games that Call of Duty's ever put out. So check it out and let me know what you think of it. So anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, bye.